I could easily have said to clients, it's going to be a longer turnaround time right now. And in some circumstances I did. But for the most part, I kind of said, no, don't worry. I'll get things to you when I promised, I'll get things to you at my normal turnaround time. No need to keep you waiting. And that put a lot of extra pressure on me, a lot of extra stress on me. And it also meant that I was working crazy hours. I mean, some weeks I was putting in 60, 65 hours, working until all hours of the night. I would work all day. I would spend an hour or two with Charlie when she got home from nursery, and then it would be right back at the computer until 12, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, having a rubbish sleep because I worked way too late to turn my brain off, and then right back in the morning to do it again, which is not healthy at the best of times, but especially not when you're pregnant and you need extra rest. So admittedly, that was nobody's fault but my own. Nobody else put those expectations or pressures on me. I did it to myself. And the same can be said with other areas in my life. I am not one for spending a lot of time sitting around the house. I like to keep myself busy. And when I do have time off or days off with Charlie or with my family, I like to make a point of us going out and doing stuff. But again, when I'm already busier with work and when I'm trying to grow a human being, I should have allowed for more downtime and not put that pressure on myself to constantly have every minute of the day filled with activities. I did the same thing with exercise as well. Exercise is really important to me, not just from a physical vanity standpoint. It's not like that, but for my own mental health. I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So for me, exercise and the way I eat is a sort of integral part of managing my hormones and managing my mental health as well. And as much as it is important for me to keep up with it, admittedly, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself that I had to make sure I was still walking 4 or 5 miles every day, making sure the dog was getting his exercise, making sure I was getting, 3 strength workouts in every week. And realistically, that's just not feasible when you're 9 months pregnant. But beating myself up about it for not getting my steps in, or not managing to run, or having to slow down, or not getting those strength workouts in, again, all pressure that I was putting on myself. Nobody else expected me to keep up with the same amount of exercise and workload and activities that I was doing with Charlie. And really, there's no need for it, I think. When you're self-employed, you put so much pressure on yourself to always do more. It's not just about maintaining your business, it's about growing it and doing more things and getting more exposure. And, that might not be true for everyone, but most of the self-employed women that I know really feel that way. It's like as soon as you hit one goal, you're already looking towards the next one. And that's great. It's great to be ambitious, and it's great to want to keep moving forward, but there are some times where you really do need to take a step back and allow yourself to just maintain or even slow down for a little bit. And I think pregnancy and or a new baby is probably a good time to give yourself a break. So I am going to end on that note. Those are, I guess, my reflections and my perspective now being almost at the end of this pregnancy, just a few weeks to go, assuming that baby doesn't make their arrival early. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was relatable. I hope that if you are worried about some of these things, or, currently going through some of these things, that gave you a bit of sort of honest perspective or some new ideas or ways of looking at things. And that is where I will leave it for part 1 of this new series. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are listening for the first time today, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a little bit rambly, just me on my own today, but the next couple of episodes I will have a guest on, so you won't have to just listen to my voice for half an hour. There will be a couple of us chatting back and forth, and you'll get some extra perspective in there, which is always a good thing. If you did enjoy the episode today, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts. This does take up a good amount of time by the time I record the episode, especially if there's interviews involved, and get everything uploaded and shared. So it really helps if you leave a review, and it helps others find the podcast as well, just connecting more small business owners who are going through the same thing, which is really the whole goal of creating this podcast in the first place. So you can leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, and you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere that you listen. That means that you'll get a notification anytime that a new episode airs. And again, it's just a big help in bringing new listeners in the door. So thanks so much for tuning in. You can find me on Instagram at Small Fish Brand Co. I love to chat there and connect with other people, share a little bit more perspective, but lots of opportunities to contribute your thoughts and ideas to the podcast there as well. So if you hop on over to at Small Fish Brand Co, join in the conversation. And if you are up for being a guest on the podcast, I would love to hear from you. Send me a DM, share your thoughts and ideas, or if there's a topic that you'd like covered, a question that you have, any perspective that you want to share, send me a message and I will give you a shout out on next week's episode.